ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today we have a special guest, Red Pill Threads. Tansy from Failure Stop had these guys products on. I ended up buying a product and losing the shirt. So, and from what I'm still pissed off about that because I went through all my clothes trying to find it because I was like, I'm gonna wear the shirt. I'm gonna be somewhat popular. He's gonna know this, and then I ended up losing the shirt. I swear I placed it in a place where I should be able to find it. As soon as we're done with this, I'll probably end up like finding it. Like,
oh yeah, it'll be right on top of the washer or something.
Exactly.
But if you don't, man, let me know. I'll send you another one.
I'll buy another one.
I'm
all for like if it's my mess up, I'll pay for it. It's no big deal. I don't want anybody to back up my stupidity because I do it way too much. I keep on telling people it's like I'm a genius, but I do so much stupid shit that it pretty much negates it.
Balances out.
It balances everything out. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show is because the one I got was just basic. It was basic, but like the one that you're wearing right now, the Kill List Crew, that artwork on that. Go ahead. Yes. That artwork is phenomenal.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. And if you notice, I know it's hard to see in the reflection of the screen and everything, but there's a lot of fun little hidden things in the shirt. Like if you recognize what that is, or that word.
Okay.
And there's there's all sorts of symbols like this one hidden in there. So I put a lot of little hidden stuff,
little Easter eggs,
shirts like this, right? And you won't see them if you look at it on the website unless you got really good vision. Because I want people to buy them and then actually look and pick up on this stuff and go, oh shit, this dude kind of knows some things and he's putting it out there, isn't he? So yeah,
it'd be really funny. It's like one of the things is like a spell for like. Resurrecting somebody, you just don't even know it. He's like,
I'm not that smart. I'd go to my wife on that one.
No, you could do it by accident.
I hope not. Christ. Unless we're resurrecting anybody that she has unalived.
That would But no, I mean, I'll hold on real quick. I should have had this up. Didn't. Like I said, I don't really.
Don't worry, we all go through life unprepared.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
I'll just do it this way. But anyways, no. What made you go to like? I guess it's kind of a graffiti style,
Yeah.
art style. What
Um,
what what wanted you to do that?
it's one of many. Like I'm really trying to branch out and build on my Photoshop skills so that I can bring more uh, authentic and original designs. Like you know, being a vet especially, I know you probably follow people like Hodge twins and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Who, if you notice, everybody's selling shirts and they all look the same. It's all the same shit. It's the LGBT thing, but it's instead the L is light beer and the B's beer and the G's gun, T's whatever. It's all the same. The Statue of Liberty holding an AR, or
yeah.
let's go Brandon. And I mean, while that's all well and good, it has its place. There were no designs that really captured what I wanted to wear, so I kind of
Yeah,
felt that there was a gap in the market.
that's always the case. I mean, let me bring this up real. Should have been on silent.
Was your ringtone? Was that ABBA?
No,
I'm just kidding.
mother, I will nerd destroy you.
I thought it was the beginning of Dancing Queen. I don't know. Maybe that speaks to me.
I won't. But what you got right here? I mean, you got one that it's very basic, like a lot of people. But then you got the one like the one that you're wearing right now. It is so full of color. It's really artistic. I mean, you have a lot like even the big stuff you got. You can show like on the corners of the shoulders. But like you said, it has like a lot of Easter eggs. If you actually get the shirt, buy the shirt, go to redpillthreads.com. Sorry. Really bad with words sometimes. But I mean, you got, let me go back to this.
You can actually just scroll on that page if you want. Yeah, or
Yeah.
whichever works. But they're all going to be on there.
Yeah. You got Tyler's Not Trans. You got NWA news with attitude.
I couldn't not do that. Once I heard the Tucker and Cube interview, I was like, "That's a shirt."
Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt that there was a place in the market for it. I don't. I'm new to Photoshop. Only been playing with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a disgruntled IT administrator. I worked in IT for about 15 years, 10 of which were pretty much at the same company. I was it's a very small company. It was the only IT guy. It was kind of my dream job. It was in-house IT. I got to, when I came on board, the previous administrator was basically saying, everything needs upgrading. Everything needs to be redone.
Okay.
So I got to just build it from the ground up. And so, I put a lot of time and effort into getting their network and getting everything up and running the way I wanted it, getting everything automated so that I just didn't have to do all the day-to-day stuff. And kind of found my stride after about 2 years. I got settled in, got them set up exactly how they wanted, and just got pretty much everything I needed automated and made it so, I could just remote in and do my work from home. But that, they didn't want that. They wanted me on site. And like I said, it's a very small company. It was only about 12 employees when I first started. Then, of course, just like with everybody, same story. Everybody's got COVID hit and shit changed.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the owner of the company and pretty much everybody else that worked there were older gay men. And don't have a problem working for gay dudes. They were all pretty great, pretty fun to be around, funny dudes. One of whom I did have a big issue with. He would tell me he had problems with his laptop, and then it'd be gay porn when he'd bring it in. He'd have it already just loaded, just to mess with me. But that was the only real issue I've ever had with anybody there. But they were very left leaning. So when COVID hit, they all freaked out. I thought it was a trip because we had the 2 weeks where everything was supposed to be shut down. After the first week, he called the employees saying, listen, I know this is what's going on and we're supposed to be all staying home, but I got a business to run. So can y'all come in? And, I said, I don't have to. I set this up where I can work remotely. So whatever you need done, I can do. But pretty much everybody else is like, no, we're not coming in a week early. We're not doing that. I guess trying to be a good employee, I stepped up and said, I'll handle what you need handled. I'm happy to come in. I knew then that this was a bunch of bullshit and I wasn't falling for it. So I think that I kind of stepped up a little too much. We ended up losing 4 people because they just didn't want to work. They didn't want to deal with it. So we were down to 8. And I'd say about a year into COVID, 2 of the 8 passed away. Nothing to do with COVID. One was battling cancer and the other was having some serious heart issues. And they passed away within a month of one another. So we were down to about 6 employees, one of whom was the owner, the other was HR. And the other people kind of worked in the warehouse area. So that they put me front and center, okay, well, if you did IT, you're going to do customer service. You're going to do, the other things like since COVID hit and nobody was having, well, let me give you a little context. The company sold calligraphy and bookbinding supplies. And so calligraphy was really, pretty popular, pretty great art form too. Stuff I never really knew much about until I started working there. But, with COVID, none of the calligraphers could have they would travel and hold classes, and it was very lucrative, and it worked out well for us because the teachers would send their students to us for their supplies. And, COVID hit, so there were no longer in-person classes, and I had a lot of teachers kind of freaking out, like, what do we do? And my reply was exactly what we were doing. I was like, do a Zoom class. You can charge a little bit less money. You do it from home. You're still making money. You're still sending people to us for supplies. And the more teachers that caught on to that, the more work I kind of created for myself. Because now I was the guy who had to create.
Basically, you were doing a good job. You were doing a good job and you're kind of fucking yourself. I know how that
Well,
is.
and that wasn't even my job. It just became my job. And more things as people passed away or people decided they didn't want to work, more and more things just became my job. And I wasn't getting paid for it. I wasn't getting recognized for it. And so that went on for about another year and a half. I complained, listen, y'all got to get some more people in here. I can't do all this by myself. And it went on and nothing changed. The guy who owned the place was really happy with only having to pay me, not an IT wage to do an IT job on top of a customer service job, on top of warehouse jobs, on top of all this other stuff. And so it was not this past January, but the January before, I called and just said, I've been telling you for a year and you ain't got your shit together. So I'm out. I'm done. And about a week later, they called me freaking out like, yeah, we didn't realize how much you actually did. We want you to come back. And I said, no, I'm not interested. I've done everything I could do. And the only way I would consider helping you guys is if I took you all on as a client. So I'm happy to.
Why don't you make a company like that? Do you have a company like that now?
So that's what it turned into. Yeah. So, and they were my first client. I told them, listen, I'm happy to take you on and handle all the networking, but my rate has changed dramatically. It was probably 6 times what they were paying me. And so when I told them that, I was trying to be an asshole, and I was highballing intentionally, expecting them to go, nope, can't handle it. But I guess they were desperate. So I was there for another 6 months, and that's kind of what started my consulting business. So I do network consulting, but it was about 6 months longer not even 6 months, probably about 4 months longer. I stayed on only doing admin stuff for them. And then they ended up selling the business because he couldn't keep it running. So that was kind of I lost them as a client, but it was a great pat on my back because I knew, not to sound full of ego, but
I knew because I wasn't there anymore, he couldn't run it, and he wasn't going to hire anybody because he was terrified of COVID. I mean, he did try. I'll give him that. He tried to interview some people, but in all the interviews, he's trying to hire, college age kids and pay them minimum wage to, pack boxes. And he's interviewing them going, do you go out to clubs, and do you visit your family? And if they did, he wouldn't even take them in. So, he's kind of cutting his nose off to spite his face, but it worked out well for me. I was able to have them as my first, IT client, and went on to build a few more, but noticed that as I was doing it, most of what I was doing was from home, and I had a lot of spare time on my hands. So, as I was kind of trying to come to grips with that spare time, and throughout my anger and angst of just everybody being frustrated with what's going on in the world, I posted a bunch of stuff just on Facebook, just angry quotes and this and that, and had a few people like, hey man, these should be t-shirts. This is kind of funny, and it captures the way I feel. So I just started messing around with Photoshop, seeing what I could and couldn't do, and if I could make a vision come to life. And I told myself, if I can do 20 solid designs, I'll just go ahead and start a website and see what happens. And now I've got like 60 some odd designs. So yeah, started in August. Actually, I launched the website on my birthday in August, and been live since. And we're definitely not pulling in the dough. I mean, we're brand new, but I'm meeting a ton of amazing people. I'm getting in touch with people that I never really thought I'd even be speaking to. And got in touch with King Bao, Joel Bauman, who's the guy who called out Jimmy Kimmel for being on the Epstein flight logs, called him out after a fight in the UFC. That clip went viral, and then Bao pretty much just got canceled for it. And got in touch with him, and that was pretty awesome. He told me that once he got canceled, he was doing something really similar. And it was kind of divine intervention that we found one another, because he felt like I was kind of carrying the torch for him and doing what he couldn't do anymore. And so in talking with Bao, I got to learn about his nonprofit, which is Alovea. So if you remember that viral clip, he started with, I fight to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet. That was the beginning of that clip. And that's what he was speaking about, Alovea. It's look it up, alovea.com. It's really interesting. What they just feed malnourished kids, and that's where my soft spot is. So working, just got set up with Alovea so we could start donating to them, and also cutting a portion of our proceeds to Operation Underground Railroad. To help in child sex trafficking, because the kids is where my line gets drawn. You don't fuck with kids. And to know that there are two really solid nonprofits out there, I felt like if I wasn't doing anything with them, then that would make me part of the problem. If I'm not part of the solution, then I'm part of the problem. Yeah. So
what's the name of that charity group again?
Alovea, Alovea, Alovea. So I just got started with a business sponsorship with them last week, and I'm proud to be able to put that on my website and on the social pages, because, again, like I said, if I'm not part of the solution, then I am part of the problem, and unfortunately, I think that's how black and white the world has become. The gray area is really it's starting to shrink, in my opinion. And
there's a lot of stuff that, and you're gonna have to message me on that one.
Sure, yeah, I'll link it to you, no problem.
Yeah, because I like to check out that kind of stuff too. Because a buddy of mine now, Steven, I had him on the podcast. He was a Marine First Division, and he likes the conspiracy side that I do on, or I like to just say theories now, because half the time they're coming true anyways.
I mean, we can just go ahead and call them spoiler alerts.
Yes, we could go spoiler alerts. I might just do that. Spoiler alert. This might be happening.
Yeah.
But he liked the stuff, so I was like, hey, why don't you just come on the show and we can have a chat? So I had a chat. And there's a new charity group that I'm going to talk to later on whenever you get a chance, because the guy's on vacation right now, but it's Seraphine, I think. Yeah, Seraphine. And they go after they're trying to go after the child traffic or the human traffickers.
Good.
I want, if you say child traffickers, it's just that one group, but there's a lot of human trafficking that I've just doing research and everything.
Tons of adult trafficking.
I couldn't believe the stuff that they're doing in Africa. And what they're doing in Africa, literally, it's baby factories.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not just Africa, bro. That's here.
Yeah,
that's happening here.
Yeah,
it's happening in the United States, and it's how something like that can operate under, without getting discovered. I mean, one did just get busted about a month ago. But I mean, it's beyond me, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening, and that's a lot of where my anger comes from.
I can't stand that stuff. The worst case scenario on me is I was babysitting like this baby, and I found out that the mother and the boyfriend were like drug addicts to the point where I was taking care of the baby for like weeks. And I finally found the grandmother.
Right.
The grandmother was taking in her kids, and we were setting it up for her to take this next child. And I was like, "Hey, I got this new job. I'm constantly gone now. Can you, take care of the baby, and I can't do it anymore." And this is like within like 2 months of me doing that, the boyfriend ended up hurting the child, and I'll do the small amount, hurting the child to the point to where the baby was in the hospital. And when I came back, I heard this news and everything, and I literally held an 18-month-old while the doctor was unplugging the life support. And I've always had like a affiliation with kids to where, not to say it's like wrong, it's just I take care of kids. You someone says like, "Hey, I got to go do this. Can you take care of my kid?" Boom, bring them in.
Yeah,
we'll play video games and munch on stuff.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I don't care. And that's how I was always brought up is, right. Hey, if someone needs help with kids, my mom always had me babysitting kids because she wanted me, interacting with kids and everything, and make sure that I had the intelligence to take care of a child, because she was one of those women. It's like, I know you're 14 and everything, but shouldn't you have like get me grandkids by now? I was like,
calm down.
Yeah. Take a couple of pills. I haven't even gotten into high school yet. But my whole family, we've always done that. Even my dad to this day. There's a lot of my actual personal friends that I consider brothers. They call him dad.
Yeah.
Only because they'll just like, my dad was in the Air Force, and your dad raised me to be the man that I am today. And I'm like, my dad's a shitbag. Are you sure? But we had that rapport. Me and my dad.
Talking about the same person.
Yeah.
Right.
My friend. I mean, one of them decided to marry my stepsister so he can be part of the family, which was kind of weird. So he's in the family now. But yeah, my dad just dropped off, and he had a couple of magazines that he needed to pick up for his new toy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually I do have some I don't want to say podcast. It wasn't even a podcast then. It was Google Hangouts on YouTube like 10 years ago. But I was in the firearms industry this was before IT. I worked for an ammo manufacturer here in North Carolina, and that afforded me a lot of cool opportunities. Didn't pay that great, but I think I went to SHOT Show in 2012 or 2013, which is a ton of fun. SHOT Show itself, I mean, whatever. There's some cool stuff. Okay, the Cry booth is always kind of impressive, and the Cry party is always crazy.
What's a Cry?
It's a Cry Precision. It's a combat clothing company.
Okay.
They make $800 pants.
Oh, fuck that.
Whatever. It's dope stuff, but not stuff I would pay for. But I got to work with a lot of great shooters. Got to work with some locally. There was a company that still trains there in Charlotte. They're called Solo Defense. So I first got started with them because I got my concealed carry, and just everybody gets the concealed carry. They take the class, and then they tuck the gun wherever, and that's that. To me, that serves absolutely. You're learning how to play with a paperweight at that point. It makes no sense to me. If you're going to buy a gun, you need to train. Period. Paragraph. So dove head first into training. Started with Solo Defense. Solo started to grow pretty big and get some good attention. Started doing munitions training with a company called Sage Dynamics in Atlanta, owned by a guy named Aaron Cowan, probably one of the most down-to-earth dudes, knowledgeable, former DOJ, went into police work in Atlanta before he started training. And as far as like real world scenarios go, he is the guy to train under. He was just, we would do a lot of sims in this place called the Safety Wolf. It was a paintball house in Atlanta, and just big warehouse. So you had all different scenario opportunities.
Did they change the program? Well, when you're going through, so you didn't memorize the buildings and everything?
Yes. There were, the building itself had so many different areas. It was 3 floors with elevators. It was kind of an empty warehouse on the top floor. The second floor was offices, all encompassing a conference room in the center. And then the first floor, the design was all different. And the way he would set up scenarios, he'd have good guy, bad guy away from one another. And he would tell good guy, this is what's going on. He'd tell bad guy, this is what you do. And nobody else would have a clue what was going on, which made it as real as possible. Because that way, when he called enroll, people are panicking and running and screaming, and you're having to, make those decisions on the fly, shoot, no shoot, what to do. And, it opened my eyes to a whole nother level of training. So, yeah, it was tons of fun, and just, it hurts a lot. You ever get shot by an AR sim round at sub 5 feet? It's gonna mess you up.
I've played paintball before, sir. I think I got the pain tolerance of it.
Paintball is a different animal.
It is. I've been hit by a sim round, and I was like, ow.
Yeah, not fun. Yeah, I caught an AR round in I don't know if you can see that gap in the tattoo right there. That's probably 10 years old. That was the AR round at 3 feet. I was diving at the time and caught the round when I shouldn't have. And it was what it was. In fact, the lady who shot me was there writing on behalf of Breach Bang Clear, if you're familiar with them, doing an article on Sage and their Sims training. And, just tons of fun. I still train as much as possible. I don't get the opportunity to do Sims like I'd love to, but got a local range that I go shoot at, and I do carry. I do carry daily where I go, and it's just the world we live in now. It's unfortunate. I'm out in the cut. I'm out in the country. I moved 28 minutes outside of the city, so I wouldn't have to deal with any of that stuff. But not an area I'd worry about carrying around where I live. But if I'm going to the grocery store, gas station, I'm carrying.
I think when for the people that don't understand, is like reason why a person should carry a gun. One, I mean, look at what happened here in my neck of the woods. I live in Texas, and they just had that shooting down in the state fair.
Yeah.
They got one. They haven't got the other one.
It's crazy times, man.
But I actually have the reason why I started carrying is I'm going back and forth to South Dakota to pick up my daughter. And I was hearing stories from a couple of cop friends that live in that area. And they were telling me, it's like, hey, tried to drive past Oklahoma City as fast as possible. I'm like, why? What's happening? One of the deputies got shot. I was like, what happened? He was doing his due diligence. There was a branch that was in the road, and what the people did was that was set up as a trap. So they would stop whoever pulled over and moved the branch out of the road.
Right.
That would pop. I'm like, are you serious? It's like, yeah. And this is an off-duty deputy, sheriff's deputy.
So they probably didn't even know he was a deputy.
No, they didn't know he was a deputy. It's just one of those things. And I'm like, it's always been the way of the world, but now it's publicized, and you got to be forthgoing on that. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. If you're gonna just because you carry doesn't mean you're good enough to actually go out there and shoot. I train now more than ever, only because I have a lot of time. I have this, and I have boredom, really. And I've found a couple of people that helped me out a lot. Especially, it's like I think, it's going on like 4 years now. I met a friend of mine that was SS. He was Special Forces.
Nice.
And
always good kind of friends to have.
Well, he's a good guy. And I met him up at work, and we started hanging out at the range. And he's like, "Hey, you want me to show you some stuff?" It's like, okay. And we go back and forth. We'll do like, it was like, "Hey, you need to do this, 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 this," and then like what happened to you? COVID hit me. Something different happened to me. He got laid off at the same job that I was at. I eventually went back, and he's still doing his own thing, but he had he's like, "Hey, I got a security job if you want in on it. It's 30,000 for 3 months worth." It's like, "All right, you got your passport? Yeah, let's do this." I was like, "All right, I trained you enough. Let's go do this." I was in Haiti for 3 months.
Ooh, that's a tough spot.
Oh, you have no idea.
And I've never been myself. My dad did some mission work in Haiti, and lots of information when he came back. And he said, "Don't go."
Haiti now is worse because it is truly a failed state.
It's also where we source a lot of the children that get trafficked.
Yeah,
Haiti's a hot spot for that.
But it's so sad that there's a lot of hot spots. That's one of them. There's a Mexican town like right across the border. I know it's like right next to El Paso, but that's another place too. That's a hot spot. But it's one of those things is once you see the environment, you can get like news. That's the reason why I hate people that I was like, "Oh, this is happening in the world right now. I've seen it on the news." It's like, have you ever been in that area?
Right.
But no, I have. And I was talking to a guy that he never was in the military. He was an oil field guy, and then he wanted something like really low key, so he worked at the factory that I work at. And so he's a really good guy. And me and him started talking. I was like, "Yeah, this stuff that's happening in Israel right now and Gaza and everything." And I was like, "Yeah, it kind of sucks that that's happening." I was taking it. He was always like, "But we got to support Israel," because I was like, listen, it's not really black and white like that. That country's been going no one owned that country for like thousands and thousands of years. You got to understand that it is literally the most conquerable country in the world. You can go back and just the Romans had it for a while. Egypt had it for a while. So everybody has like their finger put into this country.
Mm-hmm.
But
and now, because of what's going on, you also see in a lot of this SJW attitude where they want to put their fingers in it too. And people don't know shit about shit. That, you know, they heard something on TV and went, oh, I got something else I can be upset about, and I'm going to go stand in the streets and scream with my friends. You know, it's ridiculous.
Well, I was talking with him, and he's like, well, what happens if we go to war? What happens if we go to war is there's people that are innocent that had nothing to do with the stuff. I've been in war-torn environments, and I really, really just I feel for the businesses around them.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you're fighting the good fight. If you're a good person, you're a good person. You're fighting for your country, whatever. You know, that's your shit. That's your shit. But I've talked to people that were Palestinians, people from Iran, every country that we've had like a dealing with. And when it comes around to, I've been in a mosque, and I talked to these people. It's like, hey, I missed your culture and everything. I wanted to visit a mosque again. Just you know, talking with people, and they're all, you know, yeah, come in. Just gotta do your due diligence. Most of them that you have to wash your feet and everything. It's it's part of their religious process, and good people. And they'll tell you up front, it was like, it's just politics. We don't care. The wholeness of our religion is to love each other. And if you're getting it from us, if you're getting it from a Baptist church, if you're getting it from, you know, what's the Jewish one? Synagogue. Yeah, there you go. If you're getting it from a synagogue, you're getting it from them. I have lots of Jewish friends. I have lots of Christian friends. We all love each other. We all do stuff for one another. We're part of the community. We help the community.
Yeah, now that's what works. Anything beyond that is just like you said. It's politics, and it's not. Yeah. You know, it's not what affects their. Well, it does affect their daily lives, obviously, in situations like this. But you know, you're gonna go. You can go to, you know, UCLA and pull a protester that doesn't know shit, but they're just standing there screaming because they think they should be, and take them to that mosque, and they're going to argue with somebody there going, no, you should care. It's stupid. And that's, you know, that's kind of unfortunately where we are as a society. I mean, I think that, you know, the everybody gets a trophy generation has grown up into what we're seeing now. And it's just the wrong way.
What I find funny is when I start like looking into things in like the stuff that we're dealing with people now is like, oh, the people that have participated, nothing going against what you're saying, but if you look back, it really distills to where we've always had this problem, but we've always called it something else.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. It's like everybody going again. It was like, oh, we need harsher gun laws. I was like, maybe we should like fix the main problem. No, it's the guns, the problems. You don't think mental health?
Yeah. Nobody wants to address the main issue, because then that may actually fix something. And if you actually fix something, then you start to, you know, you no longer have things to blame. The powers that be don't get to blame it on guns or blame it on the unvaccinated or blame, you know, they don't get that power anymore. And that's why it's never going to get fixed appropriately. I mean, if we're too busy sending millions of dollars a day to another country, but we can't focus that on our own and the people that actually need it, you know, and stop trying to play Team America World Police, maybe we'd actually get some work done. But that's, in my opinion, it's not going to happen until we burn it all down and start fresh.
Yeah. Sometimes you look at that way and you're like, hey, I'd be kind of right on that. I'm not.
That's just, I mean, that's my viewpoint. You know, I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody will come along and poke holes in what I've got to say, and that's fine. That's what you were saying earlier about your friend. You know, just being able to engage in open discourse with somebody, whether you agree with them or not, as long as you can have that respectful, civil discourse, both of you are going to learn something.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Because I have this theory where we've really cut off speaking one-on-one. This is like
absolutely,
more or less something that I like to do because I like to communicate. But if I was in North Carolina, I would like, hey, come over to my place. We'll do it here. I'll fix you up something to eat, and we'll have a heart-to-heart conversation. You might be like on the far emphasis of what I want to talk about, but we're gonna have a good conversation. That's what it is all about. People don't want to be wrong.
well, no, they get their feelings hurt too much, and they, even if they are wrong, they don't want to accept that they're wrong, or they don't want to just stop. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm not preaching from some high horse. They don't want to just stop and see if they can find another perspective, see if they can listen to somebody else who may not agree with them or may completely agree with them, but coming from a different place. And I think that's really important. And that's actually part of the reason that I started making the shirts that I do, because I really want them to be kind of a conversation piece. I mean, I hate to call them like a coffee table book, but if somebody can look at the Kill List Crew shirt and be like, what's going on with that? It might give me a chance to say, hey, are you familiar with some of these things? Are you familiar with the amount of people that have been involved with the Clinton administration that have died in very curious ways? Some of it's conjecture, some of it's true. And so if you can have the opportunity to, and then also why I named it Red Pill Threads, just it's like in the Matrix. Once you take that pill, that's it. You're done. You have no other choice. So I'm hoping that the shirts can just kind of, if I can, and it's not me, but if somebody bought one of my shirts and is wearing it in a public setting and someone had a question about it, I would just pray that that's an opportunity for the open discourse between the two people that we're talking about. And maybe both of those people will step away from the conversation having learned something. But maybe, just maybe, the person will, is asking about the shirt and has no clue about, I've got a shirt that I made. It's a trash can. Sorry, it's not it doesn't sound amazing, but it's a trash can from the pictures from downtown Hollywood. And it's, it says Hollywood Entertainment District. And I just erased Holly and wrote pedo.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it is, that shirt represents pedo wood trash. And it just makes sense to me. I was wearing it at the farmer's market with my wife the other day, and a guy just kind of go, like, I could see his eyes darting from my eyes to my shirt. And he goes, "Where'd you get that?" And I said, "I made it. That's the shirt company I own." And he goes, "So you think everybody in Hollywood's a bunch of pedophiles?" And I said, "It may not be every single person, but yeah, with the names that I've read on the flight logs, yeah, I do." And it opened up a conversation that I wasn't expecting to have. He learned a little bit, I learned a little bit, and maybe I opened his eyes just a little bit. And once you open somebody's eyes, once those eyes start to open a little bit, it's really hard for them to close them again. So that's kind of where I felt I would play a good role in kind of starting to open those eyes a little bit. And, once one eye's open, another one gets open. It's like dominoes. When those dominoes start to fall, it just builds a bigger army, so to speak. That's kind of what I see, what we are. Because not to be cheesy and use the, you may know the song from a few years ago by Hi-Rez and Jimmy Levy. "This is a War" is the name of the song. This is a war on a religion. This is a war on the children. They give you the cure with the sickness. This is a war on tradition, are the first few lyrics of that song. And that's really the way I look at it, because unfortunately, it's us, the majority, who are just being disenfranchised and pushed to the side. This whole goal is that divide and conquer. Let's get everybody mad about racism again. I don't remember that being an issue 20 years ago. When I was in grade school, it wasn't a problem. And I went to a relatively mixed grade school, and nobody had issues with one another. Nobody was dropping N-bombs at one another. It didn't exist. But now all of a sudden it's a problem again. I mean, to me, that's by design. That's by design. And
it's one of those. It's one of those things that media wants. They want to create a fear.
Absolutely.
To where they're relevant again.
Exactly.
Because right now, and I saw like the writing on the walls like a long time ago, and this is like before podcasts, just like blogs, where a lot of they were getting their own narrative, and then I started researching how they're getting journalists on like major publications like the New York Times and Washington Post, Dallas Times, all those, and they were getting it from they were basically sourcing it to people that they could pay small amount of money but still get somebody to write these articles. And it wasn't until I read this one article, I think
that's our Soros funded media for you.
Well, what got me was they trapped me with the headlines. The headlines, I took a small amount of journalism, and the headlines are supposed to grab you to the point where you want to read the article.
Right.
And now we call it clickbait.
Yeah,
but
that's what it was back then.
Yeah, we just now have a newer word for it. Like I always like to say, it's like they just want to have newer words for stuff.
Right.
And I already knew that. I was like, okay, this article is supposed to say this. And I read this one article. The first thing that the person, when they were writing this, it should have been just all facts. It was something like everybody should have known anyways. But the reason why I stopped reading it was the fact that this person said, it's like, hey, I am a Libra, and these are the opinions that I believe to be part of these facts. As soon as I read that, I was like, time to go to a news source.
Yeah.
Because I can't go. I don't know how.
I'm surprised they didn't put their pronouns in there too.
Well, this is before the whole pronoun thing. This is like in 2010.
Okay.
So we didn't have the pronouns embedded yet. It stopped me there because I don't know when astrology was supposed to be a facto of stuff that's going to happen in the world. And this is literally like it was something like so far gone. I haven't to remember the art. I can't even remember the full.
If you've got a Nostradamus complex, you don't need to be writing news articles.
Exactly, and that's where they're getting their because it is cheap. A lot of the and these are like big name news sources and everything. They're supposed to have like the best of the best, and they don't have the best of the best anymore.
Yeah,
and people are wondering why everything's
minimum for bottom dollar for a story that you can sell for a whole lot more. No, it's all about that number. It's all
if I pay you $2 to write me an article about how brownies are the best brownies in the world, and you do that, and I sell it for $140,000.
Yeah.
Let's go ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
Then I'm good. I don't care. I mean, I understand it's a business, and that's what they are. They're running as a business, and now we're actually able to see this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yeah, unfortunately, fear is what controls, and fear is what sells, and
That old
fear
narrative,
drives
blood doesn't-
consumption.
if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So, with that kind of mentality in the news organizations, it's no wonder everybody's just wiping their ass with the New York Times at this point. It's really unfortunate because you do lose, especially like my stepdad was a Marine. He was a drill sergeant at Parris Island.
Okay.
He was a rowdy dude, right? And he is so deeply entrenched in mainstream news. If CNN says it, it is law. And being a Marine and having his background, I really expected his political opinions to be different than what they are. But especially when COVID came in, I'm hitting him with information that I'm learning, like, just hit it. I think it was mid 2002, or I'm sorry, mid 2022, where VAERS had started to release their information on the effects of the vaccine and the resulting effects in myocarditis. What actually started it, is inflammation of the heart. I'm showing him VAERS, and he's just like, "No, that's a lie. That's bullshit." And I'm like, "How is it a lie?" And this is the company that has made their stake in being a vaccine. Anybody, they report on any and every vaccine. I mean, this has become the standard. And you're telling me it's a lie because CNN says so? And he would never be able to hold weight in an argument. Do you remember maybe a year or two ago, it's probably about a year ago, you'd kind of see it on social media. It was an ad that showed Russian military training versus American military training.
Okay.
Do you remember that? It was, just showing these Russians as being these bad motherfuckers who, they're training hard, and then it cut to American military training, and it's like, I would storm the beach, but I have a shellfish allergy. And, it just made me laugh. Not to say that that's an accurate reflection on what's going on in the American military today, but it was just such a juxtaposition. And I showed it to him, and he was so furious. He was, "Don't bring that shit around me." And I really was kind of showing it to him in jest, just to, I thought it was funny, thought he'd get a kick out of it. He was so angry. And it astonishes me how deep the old version of the mainstream media has their teeth in some of the older generations, and they will not let go of some of this stuff, and they are just holding it as law. Whatever MSNBC says is law. Doesn't matter if Rachel Maddow comes on screen and tells you that every single COVID molecule is going to be stopped by this vaccine, and then 2 months later they're like, yeah, what's up with everybody getting vaccinated and still getting COVID? And she's like, "Oh yeah, I never said that. It's not." No, there's no accountability. They're allowed to say whatever they want. And the people are so deeply entrenched in it that when you've got a show like Redacted, where I love what they do, and they're sitting there, they're breaking apart all these news stories that are getting redacted and not getting the front page that they should be getting, going, "Listen, these guys reported something and it is wrong." Like Rachel Maddow came and started saying all this stuff and it is absolutely not true. So they're redacting it on this page and it's this little small print. I would go and show him something like that, and he's like, "No, that's still bullshit. Whatever MSNBC says is law." And it's sad, but hope. I see that there's hope. I see that there's, in connecting with the people I've started to connect with recently, it made me realize that we are not the few. We absolutely are the many.
I had the problem that I constantly have in the beginning is I found a lot of the documentation, like the vaccine. The vaccine, I had like a full document. The bad thing is I didn't take screenshots of it, of what the vaccine was, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting the vaccine. I don't need like something that gives my immune system a boost.
Right.
My immune system is perfectly fine. I already understand that. Now the fact that I smoke, and it's kind of a bad thing that's might hurt me, but I'm not going to get a vaccine. And then I was like, oh, dude, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. The inflation of the heart because of the white cells. It was something to do with the white blood cells being the only thing I can come up with was like stretched.
Yeah,
They were
inflammation.
the blood cells were inflamed, and it was causing problems with the heart, and that's what you have this swelling in the heart. And I had all this documentation, and it was just instead of like screenshotting, thinking, "Oh, it'll be up there next week."
Yeah,
That should be gone
suppressed.
the next day.
Yeah, they shut it down. That's why I made the shirt that says "Denormalize Adolescent Myocarditis." That's some of my shirts are very graphic like this. Some of them are just a statement. And I think that's an important statement because when you've got 12-year-olds and 17-year-olds who are having heart attacks in the middle of football practice and everybody's going, well, I don't know what could have caused that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Take a look around. You know, what's the new thing that you've introduced into this age group? So what could be causing that?
Yeah.
So the fact that I even have to make a shirt like that is upsetting to me. But, you know, I'm pissed off and I got a statement to make and I know people agree. So, you know, maybe it'll, like we were saying earlier, maybe it's going to cause people to have a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah. But going back on a lot of the people that are like the older generations, I mean, I've been reteaching my dad how to, follow up with like decisions because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Because the news media is more of a business now.
Yeah, absolutely. A failing business at that. Business. And it's fantastic.
It's pretty bad that you're getting like good medical advice from a podcast that the person's not even a doctor.
Yeah.
And then
well, I mean, the way I've discovered, and I think this is probably common sense at this point, but if you want to find out who to listen to, you start finding out who they're silencing.
Yeah.
That's who you listen to. I mean, you've got people like Dr. Peter McCullough. He was one of the first to be shut down as far as coming forward with America's Frontline Doctors and speaking out against the vaccine. But then you had Dr. Richard Malone, the inventor of the PCR test, the person who invented the test that they use for COVID, coming out and going, this is not what I invented this for, and this is absolutely not effective. This is all pseudoscience bullshit. And the first thing they do, Malone, you're shut down. You're out of here. So, that's kind of where I look. If it's a well-known doctor who is getting silenced, he's probably the doctor that I want to listen to.
Yeah. And what I've been saying about the older generation, they got their news and it was actually credible.
Yeah.
And now we're getting our news.
It was, yeah.
And it's not really that credible. I mean, when you have to fact check which is a new term now, but if you do the research on the stuff going in and you start looking at it, you're like, oh, it's just total bullshit. I had a guy that it was during that time frame where Georgia because we have a sports show, we have to go with like the All-Stars games was switched from Georgia to Colorado because Georgia enacted a ID check for voters. And the friend of mine, he was like, oh man, this is racism. I was like, how is it racism? He's like, well, because I mean, he was literally saying more racist stuff.
Yeah. And
I was coming back, I was like, I mean, you have to drive, you have to have an ID, right? He was like, yeah. So you're saying they can't buy motor vehicles. I was stunned of all the stupid stuff that he was saying that was obviously racism.
And
I was telling him, I was like, dude, that's racist.
And he's probably just regurgitating what he heard.
Exactly.
And and when people do, what you're saying about fact checkers. Like, we're told during this whole thing, don't do your own research. Don't think for yourself. Don't worry. We have fact checkers. We have people that do that for you. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna let them sit this one out. I'll do my own research. Thanks.
And to come to find out that their fact checks weren't even fact checks in the first place. They were just going.
In our opinion, this is inaccurate because whatever. And
we're gonna press this button, and we're gonna let the stuff just run down to what we're thinking.
I love if I see a post that says warning and tells me about the fact check, I'm definitely going to read the post, and I'm definitely going to read the fact check to see what kind of bullshit opinion they have. And 9 times out of 10, they're telling you that the post is inaccurate because of the smallest detail that is absolutely nothing to do with what that post is trying to say. So they're going to take any opportunity they can to fact check it and be able to put that warning up there and tell you, whatever page you're going to's been putting out false information, just because they can. And the whole time, I can't really come up with a great example off the top of my head, but the whole time
I have a great example.
Sure.
This is so hilarious. It just my brain just actually started working. There is a I guess you could go meme. It was a meme of glasses showing a flower, and the perspective is if you look at it through magnifying glass, the flower looks bigger.
Right.
But if you look at it a different way, it looks really small. But still, believe in yourself. That was it. That was all. That was the only statement, was to believe in yourself. And it was sensitive material.
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullshit. This is not sensitive material. I'll put it up and I won't get a ding. I got a ding.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? And I went my due diligence and I sent and I requested, a talk with the organization. You can't get any kind of good information on anybody anymore because everything is automated. But I called Facebook. I was like, hey, I have a question on a photo that is being flagged. And I was like, I'm a reporter for X, Y, and Z. These are my credentials. Well, I'm not a reporter. I just, if you can bullshit your way up to the top, you can keep it going.
Exactly. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Get a ladder. You can go anywhere. But I ended up talking to somebody who was like, why is this being flagged? It doesn't show any, nudity graphic. It's just a flower with a
changing perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's changing perspective. It's the algorithm. We're sorry. I'm like, yeah, but why is your algorithm flagging this? What is the purpose of? The only thing that I could perceive it being bad is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Well, we're not supposed to believe in ourselves anymore. We're supposed to.
We're not supposed to believe in ourselves. We're not supposed to do our own research. We're not supposed to be educated. When Rockefeller took over the education system in the 40s, what did he say? I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. Wasn't that it?
Yes.
And
I did a Psychos and Sociopaths episode of Lulau. I think it's the city's called. But it's a city in Colorado. A friend of mine told me this. He's like, hey, you should do a episode about this. It was a massacre there. I was like, okay, I'm interested. I like massacres. Like the best of them. I read it. It was coal mining, what they're doing. And the Rockefellers own the rights to the coal mining. And because of that massacre, and this is the United States Army, National Guard, you can't really say that much, Val. But what got me was the son. It was the son that was doing the business practices at the time, and someone asked him, "It's like, would you do it? Would you do the massacre again if you It's like, yeah, I would do it again. It got people to do what we want, and this is where we actually got 8-hour work weeks or 8-hour days, 40-hour work weeks. This is the preamble of all that stuff that we get now. And a lot of people take it for granted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it took a freaking massacre, almost committing genocide, which genocide is a whole new topic on that, because the word actually became prevalent because of the Armenian genocide. They had to create a word to show what they did was bad. But that's how you have good people on top that treat their workers good, and you have people that just want everything to follow suit. And that's what, man, we could go on a tangent for hours and hours and hours on looking at all the bad stuff and everything.
Oh, of course. But
we'll cut it up. We've already done an hour.
Hey, I'm good to go if you are, buddy.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and cut it. Check out his t-shirt line, Red Pill Threads, and God, I hope your business goes up. I mean, you got a lot of good ideas and everything, and good designs. And if you take it from nothing, the artwork is phenomenal. Also,
that means a lot to me. You know, this is I was and not to if we're gonna cut it, I don't want to keep going.
Keep going. It's okay.
Well, I mean, it means a lot to hear that, because I've always wanted to be an artistic person. I grew up I was drawing all the time. I was painting. I was always doing something until about 8, when Ritalin was invented. And my mom, being a teacher, was like, fuck yeah, this is a miracle drug. He needs this stuff. And that was forced down my throat until I was about 17. And it crushed my spirit. You know, I was in and out of the hospital. I was a pretty sick kid because of it. And the doctors didn't bother to go, oh, he's been on meth, this is why he's so fucked up. It was, oh, well, he's got mono, or he's got a nutrient deficiency. Well, yeah, I had a nutrient deficiency because I wasn't eating, because I was on meth.
Yeah.
You know? So all of that just got crushed. It got suppressed. And by the time I was, 16, 17, and was like, I'm not playing this game anymore. Well, I was graduating high school, going into college, and I never had the chance to be creative, to be any of that. I didn't get to feed that monster. And then, got into the workforce, got busy with that, ended up having a kid, and just I let it get away from me. So, being, just starting that consulting company and being able to do what I really like doing, but having more free time just has afforded me the opportunity to be creative again. And it's kind of like rediscovering myself. I'm finding that I'm capable of doing things that I didn't really think I was capable of doing. And so that, the compliment is very, very well received. It really does mean a lot, because I'm like, okay, well, I think that looks cool. And, I can think it looks cool all day, but to have the other validation from people like you, and from the other people that are telling me, like, dude, you got great designs. I'm trying not to get a big head about it, because it's just like, wow, what I'm doing is
don't get
awesome.
like Picasso. Don't get like Picasso and trying to buy stuff with like, it's like, I made this drawing. That dude
I've just got all these. I get all these ideas. Like when Hillary Clinton came back out saying that all these right-wing extremists needed to go back to re-education camps, like instantly I was like, that's a shirt idea. And I wanted to do, something kind of a distant shot of something that would look like an Auschwitz kind of situation, with the banner over the top of the gates would read Clinton Foundation Re-Education Camp, and everybody inside would have like MAGA hats on, and be like, looking all twitchy and stuff like that. I just got all these great ideas. Of course, I haven't been able to start designing that one yet. And of course, those types of things are so fleeting that the design itself is not going to be as funny, 6 months from now. So yeah, I got to kind of pick and choose my battles. I'd rather design something that's a little bit more timeless. Like, this is never going to go anywhere.
Yeah. No. I totally get that. I kept on having to tell a lot of my, cause we're slow on the whole, trying to make money on this. I enjoy it. I put a little bit of money into it, but I have fun because I get to talk to like people like you and
hobbies.
Yeah. I love, having good storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what I love storytellings. And that's, one, I get, better, not information, but able to speak in public. I used to not be able to do. I had a speech class and I couldn't do it.
It's tough, dude. Ask anybody to come on and do a podcast, whether you're in front of 5 people or 500. It's tough.
Yeah, you even said yourself. He's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be. And I was like, dude, as soon as you get on, we're just gonna have a good chat. That's it. And
that's what it's all about. Being able to, you're working on your dictation and your public speaking, but at the same time, you're able to have a conversation, maybe gain a perspective you weren't really thinking about, gather some information on something you weren't too aware of, or be able to share that information with somebody that may not be as up to date. And it's, if people are able to do this more often, hopefully you're going to start seeing a lot of this insignificant squabbly bullshit get squashed a lot faster. Because the immediate reaction to just argue because I don't agree, that's not a good look for a lot of people. And they'll hold on to that. But once that civil discourse opens, you're going to learn something. No matter what, you're going to learn something. So, if I've got to give a message to anybody, it's don't be an asshole. Listen and, don't project your own feelings onto somebody just because they don't agree with you. Take what they have to say with a grain of salt, but engage in that conversation because you will learn something.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.